Our next guest comes straight from the district office. Tim Catlin is the supervisor of child welfare and attendance. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Catlin. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
Boy, you made the long trip all the way from the district office to talk to us about kind of child welfare and attendance. I think sometimes our audience, they kind of know what a teacher does in the classroom and maybe what a principal and some of those positions, but I think some of the district office responsibilities, child welfare and attendance, they wouldn't even know what that means. What kind of things are you responsible for?
Well, the number one thing is I'm the attendance supervisor for the district, and I make sure that kids are going to school, and that we come up with any kind of proactive support that we can to get kids in school. Sometimes it's a little more intense than others, but we do what we can.
Right. Is there something that kind of triggers child welfare and attendance to intervene into an attendance situation?
Well, yeah, there's several ways. First of all, the school is the number one advocate for getting kids to their site. And we get phone calls from the schools, and usually the number one thing we do is we assist by doing what we call a home visit.
Okay.
And we actually go out to the house and talk to students, parents, whoever, and we offer them support and say, what's going on here? We remind them that it's the law that they have to be in school.
Right.
And just kind of work at that, and then we go through a step process and do what we can to get them into school after that by utilizing any kind of services from the school, anything that we have at the district, and so on.
It would seem like once you get out to the home visit that's when you really get the idea, the information about what is keeping the student, all the extenuating circumstances, some probably more legitimate than others, and then so it's your and the other people working under you to the job to kind of go, well, how can we solve it?
Well, you learn a lot about the student when you visit their home. Yes.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, when you see, where a person lives, for all of us, it really tells a lot about them.
Right.
Do you find that most of your cases are probably middle school, high school, or are there really problems with attendance in the elementary schools?
Well, we see most of our attendance problems are at the middle school and high school, the secondary level, when it's, I say, more intense.
Okay.
But we have quite a few at the elementary level. Usually that is more of a scheduling situation. A lot of elementary parents have a lot to juggle. They're trying to get a lot of kids, and so usually we're seeing more tardies and just being late to school kind of things. And but I think the more intense ones, where you've got the student now saying to mom and dad, "I'm not going to school," that's what we see at the secondary level.
And the parents just kind of complying with that.
Yeah.
Because it probably at that moment seems easier.
Yeah.
What you probably have to spend a fair amount of time talking about when you get out to the home is what's the real importance of going to school? Because I would imagine at that point the kid doesn't see the importance, because that's why they're completely disinterested, don't want to go. The parents don't have the energy to fight it. But what kind of things do you talk to them about as far as the importance of being in school?
Well, we remind them again that usually, you come right out and you say, I'm here to help you out, trying to find out what's going on. The school is concerned about you not being at school. Mm-hmm. And then, it goes through different levels. We might talk about the law and the fact that, it's compulsory education means that they have to be in school.
Right.
And, sometimes that works with them. Sometimes I get the I don't care, and this is what's happening. I've got health issues I'm dealing with, or whatever, different things.
Right.
Without getting into too much detail. It's a sensitive area.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that's kind of how we work it. We just try to be as sensitive as possible, and again, offer support. And our success rate is pretty high. I mean, we have a really good attendance rate in ABC Unified. Excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. I would, just from my own classroom teaching situation, I'll look at our daily attendance, and we might have, we have almost 700 in attendance, and on a regular day, maybe we're missing 20 or 30, which is 5%. Yeah. That's pretty low.
Yeah, that's an excellent rate, and I would say that you got to credit the staff. You got to credit the people here at school, because if kids are engaged, they want to go. So that's what I found, and that's another area that we work on is, trying to motivate them again to do what they're supposed to do.
And I think there's a lot of research that supports, attendance and success, that it's really hard for a student to understand what's going on in a particular class.
Right.
So when you miss, you come back and you don't know what's going on. If you've missed a week or two, you're really missing out on your education. I'm sure there's a large correlation in what you've seen between students with attendance problems and grades.
Right.
You hardly ever see that kid getting A's and B's who's an attendance issue.
That is correct. I mean, that is rare. On occasion, you do see that. You've got some students that they don't need to go to school every single day, and they seem to do well. However,
those are the frustrating ones.
Yeah, there you go.
Those kids are so smart.
It's exactly, and but that can't be an excuse because it is long term. I mean, in reality, one of the things about promoting good attendance and making sure that they're in school is preparing them for their future, because you can't miss work whenever you want.
Exactly. You're supposed to be there Monday through Friday.
Exactly.
You're like, Tuesday through Wednesday doesn't work for me. I'm just not going to show up.
Right.
You don't keep a job very long with that kind of attitude.
Correct. That's correct.
Now, I've heard this term before, and maybe you can help me with it, SARB.
Yes.
And, I've heard about that process when a student has poor attendance and they send them to a SARB meeting. What does that stand for, and what is it? What is it?
Well, SARB stands for School Attendance Review Board.
Okay.
All districts in the state of California are mandated to have a school attendance review board. And what that is, that's the district level team, if you will, that looks at these cases. That's part of that process I was telling you about. Because it kind of goes like this, just quickly. The schools do everything they can.
Right.
Once they've exhausted all measures, they contact us, and then we start supporting them. The school tries to do a few more things, and then they may be referred to SARB.
Okay.
And it's usually we deal with what are classified as truants. Those are the ones that are not going to school without a valid reason. You have your excused absences, which is doctor's notes and whatnot. Sure. Unexcused absences are we don't know why you're gone, and it's not a valid reason, and that's what SARB is for. And we basically make a contract at the end of that meeting, send them back to school, because that's the #1 priority.
Right.
And monitor them. And then if we have to, worst case scenario, we would get the DA involved, the district attorney, if worst case scenario, if we needed to.
But it sounds like that's very last resort.
Yeah,
not very common.
Right, and usually when we get there, we get most kids back in school. But we have a couple tough cases, but we continue to work with them. That's the whole idea of being educators.
Yeah, well, very good. Yeah. I do want to thank you for coming on the show.
Absolutely.
And for really helping me kind of understand some of those things about child welfare and attendance.
Anytime.
And I think for a lot of our audience who have children in the district, there's certain things that they're just unaware of, and so them understanding the importance that as a parent, their responsibility is making sure their child is to school on time every day. Yeah. And so thanks for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Cool.
Jim. It's nice to be here.
Cheers. And we'll be right back.